So I've started recording it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. Wow, I guess I have to share. Please let me know when you can all see my screen.
I can see your
Yes,
screen.
I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. So the very first thing, you go to your VMware. You guys would have used it. So if you double click on it, it automatically opens up your VMware. So you go to play virtual machine. Then you accept all this. But don't update, or don't ever update or install new software on your VMware. So you don't tamper with the packages already that comes with it. So for the first set of labs, I'm sure you already know. This is I would be focusing on the labs for the engineering track. Okay. So type in your password. Okay, can you all see my desktop?
Yes, desktop is visible.
Okay. So the very first thing I'm sure they should have taught you is making use of your Linux, your Ubuntu terminal to run different codes. So your terminal is, yeah, this is it here. So I'm sure all of us know how to open our terminal. Then, okay, since you guys said they've taught you Linux command and rest, I guess I will just ask one or two questions from different people. So I'm going to be calling names for that. Okay, so the questions I will be asking will be just to refresh your knowledge. So if I want to my current working directory, what's the code for that? The command line code for that?
WD.
Okay, so marvelous.
WD.
Okay. Okay, so my current working directory is /home/hd user. Okay, that's right. So if, let's say, I want to list all the files in this working directory, let me ask someone. Okay. Um, if I want to list all the files in this my current working directory, what's the code for that? Is it terminal not with us? Okay, let me check. So if I want to list all the files in this working directory, what's the code for it? Oh, seems if terminal is not with us. Richard, if I want to list all the files in that my working directory, what's the code that I need to type up?
Yes. Not sure.
You said?
LS.
Okay, ls. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it has listed all the files in the working directory. So, Richard, if okay, not Richard. Richard just answered me. Iola Daniel. So, if I want to list all the files and including the system files in this working directory, what's the code I need to type? So if I want to list all the files, including the system files and hidden files, and let's say I also want to see file permissions, the different file permissions in this working directory, what's the code I need to type? Iola Daniel, I'm waiting now. These are basic Linux syntax I expect you guys to know actually. Are you saying anything? Because I can see you're on mute. Or let me just do like Edward does it. You can call any friend though. You can call someone to help you out. Please, let's be fast. So I would be able to touch the map reduce program for you guys, the word count program for you guys. Daniel, are you saying anything? Wow.
Maybe he's
Okay.
having network because this LS-AL, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, you're right. ls-al, that's good. Aditoro. So instead of, let's say you're someone like me who doesn't like typing so much. So instead of ls-al, I can also use ll for that. It gives you the same results. So you can use ll instead of ls-al. So I'm sure, I don't know if they explained all this to you guys, but it's in your material. So when you're seeing all the system files like this, so the very first thing you see are all the different types of file permissions, the file permission you have on top of that particular file or directory. So for this first column here refers to the file permission. It can be DRW. D is for
Hello?
delete, R is for hello.
Okay, sorry, sir. I've been talking since. I didn't know nobody could hear me.
Oh, okay, no
I
problem.
was kind of.
So the answer is ls-al or just ll. So D is for delete, R is for readable, W is for writable, X is for executable. So depending on whatever you have there, it tells you the kind of, so for each user there are different permissions. So for the first 5, it tells you the permission the owner of that file has: delete permission, readable permission, writable permission, executable permission, like that. So this one tells you the directory where you can find it. Then this one tells you the time, date, those files were created. So just to refresh on Linux command, you bet. So my command line is bulky. I want to wipe all these things off. What can I do? Which code would I type to clear off all these things? You bet. Which code would I need to type to clear up all these things and have a fresh command line again? Is Ubet not with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not so certain on that. I think it's CLS. I'm not so certain.
CLS. Okay, let me try. What's CLS? Not found. You can call a friend though, just as you guys did to Ted Word. You can feel free to call someone.
Okay. I think I'm going to call Adeniji. Oluwatobi Adeniji.
Okay, Toby Adeniji, please help us out with that. So my command line is, my terminal is bulky. It has so many codes and it's not like I'm trying to clear it. What do I need to type?
Can I also call a friend?
Okay, go on. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to call on Daniel Iola.
Okay. Yeah, they've called you, so you eventually have to answer a question.
Okay, sir. I think I use clear. CLEAR.
Okay, Claire. So Claire does the job. That's great. Awesome one. Nice one, Daniel. Yola. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So let me just ask for one more basics in that from someone that has not spoken today. So Sunday, if I want to exit my Linux terminal without clicking on this X button, what do I need to type? So Sunday, if I want to exit this Linux terminal now, this Ubuntu terminal without clicking on this X button, what do I need to type? I purposely won't ask questions on changing directory because I know you guys would have changed directory a lot. Is Sunday not with us? Hello, is Sunday not with us?
Just a minute. Hello?
Yes. So Sunday, if I want to exit this Linux or Ubuntu terminal now without clicking on X, what should I type?
That should be CD hyphen, space hyphen.
CD hyphen.
Yeah.
You can see. I want to close this terminal window without clicking on the X button. You can call on Ubuntu or call on I
Okay, I call on Richard.
exactly that's the person I want. So Richard, if I want to close my Ubuntu or Linux terminal without clicking on the X button, what do I need to type?
So I'll put a friend too.
You said what, Richard?
Like I'm not sure. I'm not clear on that. So I'll just put a friend.
Oh, you want to call
Sorry,
a
sir.
friend?
Can I try this?
Okay.
Okay. Eric, you answer.
Oh, sorry.
You bet. Go on.
Exit.
Do that.
Okay. Yes. So exit would actually close your Ubuntu terminal directly. That's the code. You can see it's closed already. So those are some basic Linux commands that I expect you guys to know. I don't know if they touched all those things, but those are just the most frequently used ones that I know, apart from changing directory, moving a file, removing it, deleting a file, moving a file from one directory to another, or the only time you can use changing of file permissions is it depends. Maybe you need to run some kind of codes now, or maybe you want to move something from your local PC to your VMware, and you need to upload that file to the cloud. So that's when you need to change file permissions, and you need to understand what changing file permissions is. So, okay, I still have questions on Linux commands because you guys need to understand it very well before you can do almost anything. So who has not spoken? Henry. Yeah. So Henry now. Henry, are you with me? Hello, Henry.
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Okay, so Henry, I want to create a text file on my Ubuntu from my Ubuntu terminal. I want to create a text file and type my name inside that text file, then also save it. How do I do it?
Can I call a friend, sir?
Wow, everyone is calling a friend. Okay, call a friend.
I think I'll call Hubert.
Okay, Hubert. I want to create a text file and type my name inside that text file, then also save it. How do I do that?
Oh, is it the creating a folder, sir?
Creating a text file.
Okay. I'll call on Hubert.
Yeah. So Hubert, I want to create a text file. How can I do it?
Okay. Honestly speaking, I'm not so certain on what to do, but I'm going to call a friend, please. Daniel, please.
Wow.
Okay, sir.
I have
It's a great
an
text.
idea, but I'm not. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me just try. Sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, no
Hello.
problem.
Okay, I'm waiting. Who wants to talk?
Okay.
The answer. I remember you have to use the VI. I know remember we use VI editor then, but I'm not sure what command then goes after VI.
Oh. So now, guys,
Okay,
the thing is, okay, you want to talk? Go on.
okay, sir. I think possibly we can write VI. They will specify the file we want to create. I think that should
Okay.
work.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. So now, the reason why I'm doing all this is because, so now, guys, like, you've been in this GT program for like how many weeks now? Let's say 2 weeks now. And I personally expect that you guys will be able to, you'll be able to use your Linux commands, like you'll be experts in it by now. Because for the past 2 weeks, I feel okay learning the difference and the rest. You might have so much knowledge, but being able to implement this knowledge and practicalize it and so on is what's very important. That's what would actually fetch you so much cash. So if you're unable to do that, that's very, very wrong. That's not nice at all. That's not nice at all. So now, guys, there are so many ways to create a text file from your Ubuntu terminal and edit the text file. There are so many ways to do it. So I will show you guys just 2 ways. I'm sure the person that took you guys on Linux command should have shown you the very first way. But I'll show you guys 2 ways to do it, and now you can also. So that means, okay, that's my current working directory. Okay, until kind of, okay, let me just create another text file. So I clear this. So the very first way is according to how Daniel said. So you type VI, then you type the name of the text file you want to create. Then automatically it takes you into the text file. It creates it for you. So what do you do? To type inside this text file, you need to press something. What's that? To insert text into the text file, you need to press something. What's that? Someone should tell me.
I.
Okay, so you press I to go into your insert mode. So I'm going to, since I called the name of the text file names, So Marvelous answered me first. Okay. 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 So now I want to exit this text file and also save it. How can I do it? Someone should tell me.
You can press escape to exit the text file. I can't remember the command to save now.
I think you will use Q and exclamation. Don't know that.
Exclamation. Okay, so don't let me take so much time on that. So if I press escape to exit my insert mode, I press semicolon, then W to save, and Q to quit, then I press enter. Do we get that? So
yes.
Okay, so the thing is to exit from your. Okay, wait, let me take it again. So let's assume, okay, I'm still going to read the text file now. I'm going to read text file now. Okay, this is the text file. So I press I to go into insert mode and edit. Okay, so this is how it was. So to exit this text file, save it and quit it, you need to press escape first to leave your insert mode. So I want that white stuff to disappear. I've pressed escape. Then the next thing is I'm going to press colon on my keyboard. You can see it's already at the down part, that's colon. Then I press W to save it. Then I press Q. So once I press enter now, it is going to save this text file like this and exit the Open6 editor. So another way to also create a text file, let me just show you guys, I'm sure you might know it, is if I do something like this. I say my CAT greater than, yeah, is it greater than here? Then let me say I call the name of my text file read.txt and I press enter. So automatically it means it has created my text file. It means I want to use my Ubuntu terminal as a text editor. So let's say I type this. I have a class by 1 p.m. Then I go to the next line. Then I type some people's name. Let's say Toby. Then I type Daniel. So like this now, to save this text file and everything in it, since I'm using the Ubuntu terminal directly as a text editor, I can just press Ctrl Z, then automatically it saves that text file, and it has saved the text file and it has exited, it has stopped using my Ubuntu terminal as a text editor. So I'm not going to clear this. I'm now going to list everything in this directory for you guys to see. So now, if you notice, I created how many text files? I created a text file called what? Name.txt. Then the second method, I created a text file called what? Read.txt. So I know you would have been asking yourself that why do these different files, why did they have different colors? So they have different colors based on the file permissions on them. So these are some of the things you guys need to know. So basically, the ones that are highlighted in green, it means anybody, any user, anybody can edit those files, can delete those files, can remove those files, can write to those files, can do anything with those files. So you guys might want to just research more on file permissions to know the different file permissions and the changing of color. Okay, let me just show you guys an example of changing file permissions now. So I want you guys to see the file permission on this name.txt. So let me use what Adetor told me before, ls-al. Okay, so I want to know the file permission on name.txt. So I'll press ls-al, or I'll just press ll. Yeah, it's the same output for those 2 lines of code. Then I need to look for name.txt. So if you check it on name.txt, I have read permissions. I have read permissions as the owner of the file. I have write permissions. Then some other users have just read-only permissions. They also have read-only permissions. There is no delete permission for almost any user right now. So if I want to play around with it, if I want to play around with it now, this name.txt, if you notice, it is still highlighted in white, which is the normal. There are number codes we attach to these file permissions. So let's say I want to change the file permission. Anyone can edit it, delete it, execute it, or run it, or even just read it. So I'll say chmod. So when I call chmod, I need to call the file permission code. So if I say chmod 777, it means I want anybody to edit it, anybody to delete it, anybody to, anyone, any user that is logged in can have access to it. So I need to call the name of the file .txt. So I press enter, like that, it has run. So to check what I've done, I just need to type ll. If I type ll, or let's say ls-al, let's go back to name.txt. If you notice, it is highlighted in green now, meaning anybody has read permission on. If you check your left-hand side, anybody can read it, write to it, execute it. Like, it has changed from rw-rw-r to rx, rws, rwx. So you can just do yourself some little favor by just reading up on file permissions, navigating around your Ubuntu or Linux command, because it is the core to everything you'll be doing as a data scientist, data analyst, or data engineer. So if you are extremely good at it, you can always find, like now, sometimes some keys on your keyboard might not be working, and you just need to find a way of writing some codes and executing some things. So it will just save you a lot of stress if you are an expert at navigating around your Ubuntu terminal. Okay, so I'm going to clear all this now. Then go to where we are for today. What you guys suggested for today, because what I'm actually meant to just do today is answer questions. And according to what Edward told me, we believe that you guys would have started doing those labs and you'd have gotten to maybe the second lab. But since you are quite late or behind schedule, I'll just do some things to just set you guys in track, like on track for it. So if you check your lab book, I've covered the very first lab, the very first major lab, which is practicing Linux command and your Open6 editor command, which is creating a text file delete. I've covered the major part of it. And I'm sure with the questions I've asked today now, some of you wouldn't forget some of all these things that I've said now. Okay. So the very first lab after Linux command is your practicing HDFS command. So the funny thing is, I'm going to skip practicing HDFS commands because basically the remaining labs you are doing is also the same thing as using HDFS commands. So the only thing I will just say about it, is I'll just show you guys how to start your Hadoop system and how to live. That's all. No, I won't do that. I would go straight to the map reduce. Yeah, I'll go straight to the map reduce because it's still HDFS commands that we use to do the map reduce program. So the very first thing, okay, let me just check it. Stuff is running. Okay, it's not running. Okay, yeah. So the very first thing for the word count program on MapReduce, is you launch your Eclipse. So basically, your Eclipse is an IDE for running your Java code. You have Eclipse, you have NetBeans, You have some other Java compilers that you can also use. But the major ones that I know are your Eclipse and your NetBeans compiler. Yeah, your NetBeans ID. So the very first thing is when you start your Eclipse. I don't know. Are you all with me?
Yes, sir. We are, sir.
Okay. Okay, first, let me ask, has anyone been able to implement the word count program?
A couple of us haven't, sir.
Oh,
We were following the manual, and I think we got to some point and we got stuck.
okay. Please let me know if I'm getting close to the point where you got stuck, so I'll be able to buttress some points there while demonstrating it to you guys. Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, now. So the very first thing you do is you try to create a workspace for that particular program you are implementing. So you go to browse. So if you can see, I already did the word count program and the access HDFS program because because I needed to actually implement it before coming to you guys because I felt you guys would have questions. So in the process of implementing it, maybe if you have any questions, I would just go to it and answer it straight directly. But what I'll do now is I'll create another workspace. So you come to the create folder. So this time around, I'm going to call my workspace. I'm going to call my workspace word counter. So once you create your workspace, you click enter, then it takes you to the directory of that workspace. So one easy way for you to be able to identify your directory in Eclipse is if you look at the top, you can see the HD user. So it means you have your HD user. Under HD user, you have workspace. Under workspace, I've created a new directory called word counter and I'm inside it. So if I'm not inside word counter, let's say I go to workspace now, you can see automatically workspace is highlighted in black. It means I am here. So until I come here, before word counter will be highlighted in black. So that's how you are able to locate the directory that you're inside. So the next thing is you click OK. So automatically you can see that your workspace directory has been updated. You have your home /hd user /workspace /word counter. So I click OK now. Then I have to wait for Eclipse to set up my environment. So the next thing is just like your MySQL that you guys are using, your MySQL. If you notice, you use MySQL Workbench to interact with your MySQL database or MySQL server environment. So your Workbench is more or less like your code editor itself. So I'll click on Workbench. So this is how everything looks like. This is it. So I have my project explorer, I have my code editor itself, then I have my output, my console output. It tells me the kind of errors I will encounter, the kind of errors I encountered, the bugs, like it is my command line output for the code editor. So what I'll do next is I'll come to my project explorer, then right click on my project explorer and create a new project. So what kind of project do I want to create? I want to create a Java project. So for some of you guys, so the reason why I have Java project here, Java project from existing anti-build file plugin project is because I've done this a lot. So based on your mostly used preferences, it will suggest some for you. So for some of you guys that haven't gone factor, you might need to come down to this Java. So you click on this Java, you unlist it, then now click Java project. So ideally, this Java project here is actually the same thing with this one here, but just because for some people that haven't done the lab, so you click on this Java project here, then click on next. So the next thing is you give your project a name. So I'm going to give my project a name. Let's say simple. Yeah, let's say simple word count. Yeah. So that's the name of my project. Then I click on finish. Then I'll press yes. So after creating your project, the next thing is, so basically what Java does is, based on the previous projects you've run in the past, it tries to create some build paths for you, but you don't need conflicting build paths. You need to configure your own build path. So what you do is you unlist your project name, you go to SRC, but instead of going to SRC, you can just come to your project name, right click on your project name, then you go to build paths. So meaning you're trying to specify the tools, the plugins you want to use in building your Java program. So I come to configure build paths. So from my configure build paths, this is where I am. This is where I'll select all those libraries and packages I would use in building my Java program. The next thing is I'll go to libraries. So from libraries, I'll go to add external jars. So add external jar, basically what it does is that you are trying to select those external plugins, those external packages or libraries you want to use in compiling your Java program. Then, so in your lab manual, there's already a list of external programs or external plugins you need to run your programming. So what you do is, so from the lab manual, from what I can see is they have specified the working directory of those plugins. So from what I can see, it means I have to add those files, those external plugins from a folder named user USR. So what I can do is, okay, yeah, there's nothing like USR on HD user, there's nothing like USR on desktop, there's nothing like USR on file system. Is there anything like USR? Yeah, there's something like USR on file system. So I come to USR, then under USR, I was told to go to local. So under local, I was told to go to Hadoop. Under Hadoop, I was told to go to share. From share, go to Hadoop. From Hadoop, go to common. From common, go to lib. So from lib, I can see the different jar files, that different types of jar files I can use in building my Java program or project. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to start picking those jar files. So the very first one I need to use is the API ASN. So luckily for me, everything here is already labeled alphabetically. So what I'll do is, so I need to look for API ASN 1-1.0. So here's API ASN. Okay, the next one I need to look for is common CLI 1.2.jar. So I'll put my hand on control so I can select so many of these files at once. So commons CLI, I mean. Then the next one is commons collections 3.2.1 in that same file directory. So this is this commons collections 3.2.1. Then the next one is commons configuration 1.6. So commons configuration 1.6. So that is all for this directory. From my manual, I can see that the remaining are not inside this directory. So that is for all 4 external plugins altogether. So next thing, I'll click on OK to add them. So automatically, those 4 plugins that I've added are here. So I still need to go to add external jars to add the remaining. Just like I told you, the blocks, the tabs at the top refers to the different working directory. So it means we have user, local, Hadoop, share, Hadoop, common lib. So the remaining plugins I'm looking for, yes, it is under user, it is under local, it is under Hadoop, it is under share, it is under Hadoop, yes, it is under Hadoop. Then under Hadoop, it is under common. So after common, that's all. So that means I'm looking for Hadoop Common 2.6. So I'll click on common. I'm looking for Hadoop Common 2.6. I'm going to add it. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. So I'll click. Okay, after Hadoop Common 2.6, is there any other thing I'm looking for? Okay, after Hadoop Common 2.6, okay, this time around I was told to. So I still need to add the remaining external jars. So it is under user, under local, under Hadoop, under share, under Hadoop, but this time it is under MapReduce. So I need to click on Hadoop, then come to MapReduce. After MapReduce, I need to look for Hadoop MapReduce Client Core 2.6. Hadoop MapReduce Client Core 2.6. Okay, this is it. Hadoop MapReduce Client Core 2.6. So I'll click OK. Then the last plugin I need is my JDK library. Yeah, this is it here. So this JRE system library refers to your JDK library. That's your Java compiler language itself. So with all this in hand, I'll click OK. So once I click OK, automatically I've added my JDK library and the reference libraries, which are the extra libraries I added. These are the reference libraries. These are the extra libraries I added. So the next thing I need to do now is, because I've referenced some new libraries and I've added some external plugins, I need to recreate my source file. So I'll delete this particular source file. Okay, so the next thing, to create my own source file, I just need to go back to this same project, click on new, then click on source folder. Excuse me. Then click on source folder, then I'll give it the folder name SRC, which is for source folder. Okay, then I'll click on finish. Okay, so that is all. So looking at it now, I've moved from joining those tools that I need to create, to compile, to build the project. So now I'm moving to those tools that I'll need to write my code itself. So I need to create my classes, my methods, my different objects, and the rest. So what I'll do next is I'll need to create a new Java class. So what you will do is you right click on your source folder, then you go to new, then you go to select class. So under your select class, your new Java class, you need to choose the package name you want to use. So from your manual, it says let's do big data. Okay, let's do big data. Okay, yeah, let's do big data. So then what does it say? Also, it says the name of your class should be word mapper. Okay, word mapper class. I'm sure since it's MapReduce implementation we're trying to do, we'll create a class for the word mapper, we'll create a class for the word reducer, then we'll also create a class for the word counter. Yeah, for the word count. Okay, yeah, it's publicly accessible, java.lang.object. Okay, so I'll click on finish. Automatically. So yes, this is a very important part I need to let you guys know. So in your, what do you call it, in your manual, it tells you to start writing out, to start typing all the code. It's good actually because if you start typing out all the code, as you are typing out the code, you get to understand what each line of code does. So you get to understand Java syntax also. But what I would just do is this. Since I already have the code on my system, I'll just copy it from somewhere. I can start typing out the code.
Okay, sir. In the manual, we're asked to delete the SRC.
Yeah, the initial SRC.
Yes.
Yeah, so as it wouldn't conflict with the new extra plugins, the external build files you just added, you just referenced. Do you get? Let me explain it again. So if you look at
Yes,
this place now,
you delete your own. That's what I'm wondering.
you say what?
But you didn't
I
delete yours.
I deleted
First
mine.
deleted
So
the
this is it. You delete it, then you recreate it. It's like you're trying to recompile the whole project, rebuild the whole project because of these libraries you have referenced. Do you get? Okay, let me take it again from top. So the first thing you create is you create this folder, the folder of your project. So after creating the folder of your project, automatically the SRC is created. So this is what you have. The SRC is created. You have your JDK library, but you don't have all these referenced libraries. So these reference libraries, you need to add them. That's what you refer to as your add external jars. So by the time you add your add external jars, you need to actually recompile the whole project. And because you don't want it to conflict with what was normally you can go on building your writing your code just like that, but because you don't want the new libraries you've referenced to conflict with what was originally created in your SRC, you would delete it. So after deleting it, you will now create a new one. So after creating a new one, that's when you will now create your new package name and your new class. You get? I don't know if you get that, Adetoro. So I deleted mine and I created it again. Or was I too fast? I don't know. Adetoro, do you get that?
I'm following, sir. I wasn't the one that asked the question, sir.
Yes, I get it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I don't know who asked the question. Oh, sorry.
Please, can I
Okay.
ask a addition?
Okay. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so for the package name, if it's not let's do big data, what other thing can it be? I mean, is it a standard? Is it a
So the
conventional?
package name is more or less like you're just trying to give it a company name. So for
Okay,
example, now I can give mine like com.octave analytics. You get now.
it
So
can be any.
package just like something that zips all the classes files, all the Java files together. Do you get? It's like a
Okay,
bag that houses the
o-
different .java classes together.
okay, that means
It
that
can
I
be
can use any.
exactly, but
Okay,
the naming syntax must be followed. It should become dot something. So like now,
okay,
if you are doing Android development, let's say you are developing mobile apps for Android now, and let's say you are using Java, not Kotlin now. So
okay,
let's say I'm building an app for Octave Analytics now, and I'm using Java. So I can just make my package name com.octave analytics, and that's all. Or com
okay,
dot the name of my app.
okay.
Yes, so that's just how it is. Okay, so like I already told you guys, let me just share my full screen this time around so you see how I do it. Then please let me know when you can see my full screen.
Yeah, I
Yes.
can see. I can see.
Okay, so you can see my full screen now. So I think I already have, yeah, this is the, okay, let me just take, sorry, please excuse me.
Sorry, please. I don't know how you got this.
Shoot. Sorry, is this class still running?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
I think he has something to attend to real quick. He'll be back.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just need to be sure.
Yeah, so now yeah, thanks for that. So okay, I'm just put it here. So yeah, I need to take this from the top. Okay. So I believe we all have this file. So for some of you guys, it will be the analyst file. For some people, it will be the engineer file. So you come into the engineer, then you come to, you see it's engineer Willy code scripts. Then the very first lab is intro to big data lab, word count. So you click on it. Or for those of you that use notepad, so let me say it's notepad now. So one funny thing I can decide to do is, since it's a Java file, I can just decide to turn it to .jv, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. So just as when I joined the class the last time, just as one of your classmates was saying, so if you don't have chills and you can't become to write the codes, you copy it. So for the mapper class, remember the very first
Hey,
class we created. Okay, is someone asking a question? Okay, so
which
for the
code
mapper,
are we,
you said,
which code script are we meant to get?
are you meant to get? Yeah, I'm going to explain. That's what I'm explaining now. So like I said, the very first lab is your intro. Okay, this is what you see in that folder for code scripts. So the very first lab is the word count lab. That's the intro to big data lab. So you see the text file and open it. So on your VMware, which is your Eclipse, the very first Java file you created is the Java file that will carry code for your mapping function, your word mapper class. So the very first thing you need to do is, if you are calm and there's so much time, you can decide to type the code according to how it is in your lab manual, or you can just come to the code script and copy everything for the mapper class. You can see mapper class. So just from based on experience now, just from seeing this, I already know that the very first line here is just a comment. Then I already know that the very first line is a comment. Then I can see that this one too also that says word reducer. I already know it's a comment already. So meaning it should be a comment that indicates the starting line of code for the reducer function or the reduce class or the word reducer class. So I'm going to copy this, then come straight to my code editor on Eclipse, Ctrl A, then paste it. Just as I told you, the very first one would be a comment. So the next thing you do is you now need to create a new class for your word mapper, for your word reducer and your counter. So to do that, what you need to do is the same process you followed. You right click on the package name this time around. Remember what I told you? It's the package name so meaning we want all these Java files to be in the same package name. So you right click on it, you come to new, then you come to class. So this time around, the class we're trying to create is the word reducer class. So word reducer. So I would click on finish. Automatically it opens another editor. So my code for the word reducer class, according to your lab manual, you are meant to type everything. So I already know that, okay, since this indicator is a comment that tells me where the word count class starts from, so I'll copy the code for the word reducer class. So another thing is you also need to be careful while doing the lab. So once in a while, at times, in the process of transferring your text files, of downloading the text file and installing the files, sometimes you need to be sure that there is no error in the code. So I think in the process of trying to do one of your labs today, I noticed that the code was incomplete. So I needed to edit it and also complete it myself. So that's for anyone that has tried to do the Access HDFS lab or the map reduce labs and the yarn labs. I don't know if anyone has attempted it. Okay, so the next thing is after doing that also, you also need to create a new class for your word count. So the same process also, you click on your package name, you go to new, then come to class. So this time around you call it word count. Okay. So I'll click on finish. So automatically it generates some script for me. Okay. So the next thing, okay. So the next thing, my code for the word count class. So the thing is, one good way of copying the codes is you go to your lab manual, you check for the last statement of the code. Okay, the last statement of the code says after completing exits the job. Okay, so this is where it is. Then you copy it down to the comment that indicates that this is where the word count class code starts from. I would advise it's not good to copy and paste code. Try to understand what's happening in each line of code. I was thinking I was going to explain the different codes to you guys per line, but my boss said that's not right, that you people should be able to learn that on your own. So let me just give you guys an extra tip of what's happening also. So now if the code you pasted, if it is actually having wrong syntax, one thing you need to know is that if you check your right hand side here, if your word count is in green, if this icon, this class icon is in green, it means yes, so the syntax of your code is right, it is good, meaning your codes will compile. But once the syntax of your code is maybe having an error or not good, then there will be an issue. So let's experiment now. If I remove this curly brackets here, automatically you are already seeing errors. So as you can see, you're already seeing errors, meaning there will be an issue. But if I put it back, you wouldn't see any error. So try to look out for errors in your code. So because I've pasted this and it has compiled already, it is still giving me the green icon. But let's assume I pasted the wrong code. You would notice that the icon will be different, it will most likely be red. Okay, so we've pasted codes for our different classes, for our word mapper, our word count, and our word reducer. So the next thing is we are sure that all our codes would run. So what would we do? We need to export these codes we have written now. We need to export it into a Java application. So most times you can either export it as a Java file to run it. So it depends on which one works best with you. So what you will do is you will right click on your project, then go to export, then the export icon. So the same thing. Hello, you said what? So the next thing, you would click on Java, you would unlist it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so new to Java codes, but on our manual, and with the text file we copied, I noticed that I don't know, the brackets were on a different line. Um, doesn't mean, or it doesn't really mean at all.
So ideally, it doesn't really mean, but this is one thing I know. If the syntax is right, if maybe it is expecting to see two curly braces, and it can see, let's say, the two curly braces now. The way some people will code, they will put the two curly braces on the same line. Some people will put the first one on the first line, then put the second curly bracket on the second line. So it is still correct ideally, but one thing I would advise is try to follow up on PEP 8 guidelines for coding. Yeah, so one, and I think, yeah, Eclipse should, yeah, it's been long I used Eclipse, but Eclipse should have a function that should help you refactor your code to make it look nice. Okay. Okay. I'm looking for that. There should be a function that should help you refactor your code. Okay. Wow. I can exactly. Yeah. So I just did it now. Yeah. So I was right. So if you look at this, okay, let me just. So this is how the code was before. It's not looking so nice. So if you wanted to match up with Perpetuate guidelines, you might want to read up on coding guidelines. So you would go to source. Yeah, you select all of your codes, then you come to source. Under source, you go to format. So what format does is it tries to arrange your code according to the standard guidelines. I'm sure this is what you should have on your lab manual because it looks extremely neat. So this is how it is. So that's one way. You can do the same thing for all of these codes you have here. So, and there should be a shortcut for that. Let's check for the shortcut. So if I press Ctrl O, so the shortcut is press Ctrl Shift and F. it should format your code for you and arrange it properly. So I guess this is what you have. Yeah. I'm sure the person saw these two curly brackets. That's why he asked the question. But in the text file I pasted, the two curly brackets were in the same line. So you can see. Should you always do this? Well, it depends. If you are trying to write codes that you are pushing out for production, I always advise to follow the normal guidelines. Yeah. So people will find it it will be easy for others to read your code. But like I said, it's not compulsory. It depends, it's not compulsory. And again, like what the likes of Jan LeCun and Jeffrey all that Google and Facebook would say is that we are data scientists, so we aren't necessarily software developers. So if we don't follow normal coding guidelines and the rest, as long as we're able to get our codes to do what we want, that's what we're concerned about. But it depends, some people just like being orderly. So like I said, you right click on the project, you go to export, then you come down to Java and you select Java file. So when you select Java file, you click on next, then the export window would show. So I need you guys to take note of this. Yeah, so one thing I can do is okay, I want you to see this. So I want you guys to see this. So according to your manual, it says you should create a file called name /h, put it in the directory. You should save the file as wordcount.jar in the following directory: /name /h the user /data /wordcount.jar. But since I already worked on this lab before, I already have a file like this in that directory. So what I can just do is I can just say ls what ls show me what's in this directory /home /is the user /data /data. So you can see. So I listed the files I already have in that directory. I already have a word count.jar in that directory. So let's say I wanted to see the file permissions on those files. So I can just say ll and press enter. So the file permissions are just normal read, write permissions. Okay, that doesn't really matter. If you're using Java, it would always be able to have access to it. So let me clear this. Yeah. This leads to another question now. What's the name? Who should I call? Who has not spoken today? So I want to delete this word count.jar. I don't want it to, what do they call it? I don't want this stuff to give me an error that I already have a, what do they call it? I already have a word count.jar file that if I want to replace it. So how would I delete it? Can anybody tell me how to delete it?
Hello, uncle. You have not called me. You have not called me. Uncle Timola.
So can anybody tell me how to delete this word count.jar file?
I
Sorry,
think
I
you can
think
just
I think
okay.
you type.
I'll type what?
I
I
think you
think
type
DL
RM.
DL.
Someone's talking.
RM what count with that?
RM-RF in quotes word count the jar.
RM what?
RM-RF word count the jar. I don't know.
I can't hear you.
I'm not sure about it, but I'm seeing RM-RF.
Ah, see, I don't think I can trust your code though. So let me tell you something. Another thing you can also look up on Linux command is there are some, I think, yeah, they should be between 7 and 10. There are some Linux commands that you should never run on your system, on your Ubuntu, on your terminal. Because if you run it, you run the risk of deleting the whole system from just the terminal. So you might want to look up on that. So I'm actually not going to delete the file, but let's say I wanted to delete the file. I can just say rm/r, and yeah, I can just say rm. Or in fact, it's even very easy. You can just say rm, then you call the name of, you call the directory. So let's say I do this rm, and I do this. Yes. So if I run it again, I shouldn't see it. It's no more there. So you can see, the thing is, there's no specific code for doing anything. You just know the major code. We all know that the major code to delete something is RM. So it's up to you to feel free to be innovative with it. Like now, some people, just because they wanted to delete this word count.jar file now, they need to go inside that directory just to type rm word count.jar. So just feel free. Like, you really need to explore Linux commands. Okay, so I'm going to type clear, and I'll just exit this. Okay, so I'm going to type finish here.
I
Is
asked you a
everything?
question. You're saying if you open it directly, you can just use RM with what count to that
Yeah. Do you
without
get?
specifying without specifying the directory on your RM line.
As long as you're in that directory, you should be able to do that. Except maybe this version of Ubuntu Linux doesn't permit that. Let me do that for you now. So, um, okay, slash slash. Am I right? Okay. Okay. So I want to remove that file. I don't know. You guys are making me delete files to the hdfs.jar. So look at this. There's nothing there again. I just deleted the access hdfs.jar file. And what was the code that I used? I just used rm access hdfs.jar. So sometimes all those hyphen, all those stuffs, like, you might not necessarily need them. The only reason why we use hyphen il or hyphen r is maybe want to delete multiple files or want to do one or two things like that, sure. But those are the original codes. But the more as you get used to it, you would know that, okay, since I'm already in that directory, there is no need for me to start putting rm hyphen f or hyphen l or hyphen s or whatsoever. Just do the remove straight, like remove that file straight. And this is easier because I'm calling the file name and the file extension. You notice I'm calling the file extension. Then some of you that would have tried to do this slab, I'm sure the major code error or the major headache you're having is probably maybe you didn't set up your environment variable for your Hadoop cluster. You didn't set up one environment variable for your Hadoop cluster. For those of us that are having the warning native language issue, or probably you didn't use the file extension name with the file name. That's why you couldn't complete the lab. But we'll get there, sha. Okay. So I don't know. Have I answered your question? You've seen that we've
So,
deleted that part now.
so are you saying that there's no difference between the command RM and RM-RF?
There is. There is actually. I've told you that the use cases, it depends on the use case you're trying to. So the reason why those commands were added to it was sorry. The reason why those hyphen commands were added to the syntax is because I want to delete a lot of files now. If I want to delete a lot of files, I know all those files I want to delete. I want to delete everything inside a certain directory now. All those files I want to delete inside that directory now. I can't start calling their names one by one. So you can just use rm-r and put the directory name. It deletes the directory and deletes everything inside the directory. So the reason why those hyphen and the rest were added in the syntax is because for the different use cases you would love to implement them with. That's why. But if it's a single file, I can always just go directly. I don't know if you understand me, or do I do an example?
I do. So RM hyphen R deletes the folder and everything else.
Everything inside, yeah.
While the RM just deletes a particular.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay. So if I click on finish now, it should export my Java classes, the code. You should run it and export it as a jar file. And the jar file is word count.jar. So if I click on finish now, so it says some modified resources must be saved before this operation. Okay, so you just need to click OK.
Okay, so if I don't know, what you did was you had this word count.jar initially, and you had to remove
Yeah,
it.
because I've already done the lab since I was coming to meet you guys now. So I was basically coming to answer questions. So I already had it initially inside that file directory.
Okay. Okay.
So I just deleted it so it wouldn't cause issues in my application build for the Java file. You get. It wouldn't give me the prompt that do I want to replace that file.
Okay.
Yeah. So now that we've done that now, you can just, yeah. So basically all these ones will save on their own. Okay, so everything is saved. I can just close this. Yeah, I can close this. Then next thing I come to my terminal, my Ubuntu terminal. So what do I want to do now? I want to experiment. So I want to run the word count application I just built. I want to test it out. So to start Hadoop, I use the normal start all .sh. So if you notice, to start any of your Hadoop ecosystem environment, let's say you want to start HDFS now, you need to say start -dfs.sh. You want to start here now, start yarn.sh. Okay, so I want to start all of my Hadoop components. So I'll just say start all.sh. Okay. This should take some time. So I would know it is done running when I see HD user at Ubuntu, just like this now. I've seen HD user at Ubuntu. So most times it is always good to read the log report when you're trying to run a particular code. So from just the very first line of the log report, okay, it's telling me that I could have used the specific codes itself like dfs.sh or yarn.sh to start my Hadoop component than using all.sh. So then you can see for some of you that have this error code that says one util.native coda loader. So all you just need to do is you just need to set the environment variable of your Hadoop ecosystem, of your Hadoop component. Okay, and there is a code for that. So I'm going to put the code in the chat section for you guys to have access to it. So you can also just copy and just paste it. so that all of your Hadoop components and your Java compiler would run properly without issues. I've pasted it in chat section for you guys. For those of us that also, for those people that also have that issue. So I'll just right click and just paste it, then run it. So once it runs, like I told you, if your code is done running, you'll see HD user at Ubuntu. So it's done running already. So to ensure that all my Hadoop components are running, I need to type JPS. So, so if you can see this now, if you notice, like apart from your normal programming, yes, can I didn't get you.
Said
Son
you were
is
going to
asking.
send a code.
Yeah, I've pasted it in chat section. It is in the chat section for those people that are having the same error of one util.native code loader, unable to load native Hadoop libraries. So I ran that code to correct that. Then just like I said, to ensure that your Hadoop components are running, you type JPS. So that way it will tell you the different ports that your node manager, name node, secondary name, your different Hadoop components are running on. So you can see the beautiful thing about being a data scientist is you are not just glued to one programming language. Like you should be someone that should be able to relate with almost any programming language. Like if you notice in this program now, you are learning, currently you guys are learning SQL, you are learning R, you are learning Java. So apart from even Java concept, you are even learning normal Linux administration commands. So many you guys you can even work as a Linux sysop admin somewhere for some people for IT or networking support. Then as time goes on, at some point you learn Python. At some other point you learn Scala and Julia also. So Scala and Julia are also other competing programming languages also. So you get to learn so many things. Just be open-minded. Like it's quite easy. The truth I'll tell you is um, the best software programmers, the best developers, we all use Google. We still use Google. Like even me myself, I still Google out some things, no matter how little. So don't feel intimidated with probably all these codes. Like I know some people when they just see some lines of code, like they're already getting infuriated and getting tired already. So feel free, and definitely in maybe any professional programming exam you take, it is not always going to be about coding. They will definitely, the major thing is they are trying to test your knowledge on understanding the different concepts, not necessarily on the coding. The coding will just be a part of it. That's just it. Just be a small fraction of it. So feel free to make mistakes, feel free to have errors, and if you have bugs in your code, if your code is not running, it's not the end of the world. Just feel free, be open-minded, and at times you might be in a real life situation whereby it's just a semicolon that has been giving you a headache for the past 2 weeks. I've been in a situation whereby I was working on a project. I was trying to develop a mobile app, and for like a month to no, not even a month, for like 3 months, my mobile app was not building. Like I was unable to compile the code. And why was I not able to compile the code? It was because I changed the port number that I was using my Android Studio to access the internet. It was just because of that line. I just added port number equals to, let's say, 8080. And all of that was because I was making use of a different internet, or I was making use of some people's internet. So they said if I wanted to have access to internet, I needed to use a certain port number. And I forgot to change it after that day. So the reason why my code was not running and compiling was because I added a port number for 3 months. Like it can be so frustrating and mad. I reinstalled the whole software, everything. So be open-minded, don't give up. That's all I'll just say about it. Okay, now that our Hadoop is running, we need to run our Java application. So to do that, like I said, I wrote this class, like we're already behind schedule. So I'll just copy the codes to run it. Okay. No, okay, this is it. So the same thing. Okay, the same thing. So right now, what we need to do is we need to copy that word count file from our local terminal to our HDFS. So meaning we need to copy the word count file to our HDFS. So I've copied the code to do that. Okay, so I'm expecting this to give an error. So we are saying I do copy this file from local. So we are trying to copy that our Java application file that we just built, we just exported from Eclipse. So this should give an error. Should accept if it's smart now. Okay. So how many of us face this error? I'm sure we're already getting to the point of facing errors and bugs now. How many of us faced this? How many of us? Okay, or who was able to? Okay. Okay. So I already know the answer to this, but okay, does anyone know the answer to this? Or I should just do it straight? Okay, don't let me waste time. I'll just do it straight. No one wants to talk. So what's wrong with this is that, so we are telling Adobe that it should copy this file from our local system, from this directory. So the file, we didn't even specify the file. You know, like I told you, if you are using your terminal, whether your Windows terminal or your Ubuntu terminal, sometimes some scripts won't run, not because the syntax is wrong. The syntax is not wrong. It is because you are not explicitly specifying those files you want to run it on. So we actually have a file. The file is word count, but we are not specifying the type of file. Is it word count? Just word count. What if we have word count.txt? We have word count.jar. We have word count.py. So we need to specify the kind of file it is. So I'll just say word count.jar. Then we run this code, and you'll see that it will actually run. It will copy the file from my local terminal to my DFS cluster. So you can see, what did this say now? It says what? File exists. So this file exists means I've already copied the file like that, word count.jar. Initially, you know, I already did the lab now. So from my first trial of that lab, of this lab, I already copied a file called word count.jar to my HDFS. So basically the file exists. I just need to press enter. So that's for those of you that had the error. The correction to that error was adding a .jar at the back of word count, specifying the type of file name. So if you come to your code the code script, all you just need to do is add .jar, and that will solve your problem. Okay. Please let me find out how many people are doing this alongside with me, so I'll know if anyone is following me, or if I can just be fast and just go straight to the next point.
Sorry.
Is anyone?
Sorry, hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I got here, it says that first part that said use of this script to execute HFS command is deprecated. So is that
You said what? Can you share your screen?
fine?
Can you share your screen and give me control?
Oh
Do you know how to
wow!
do that? You are using
I'm
your
using
phone
mobile.
to
Yes.
listen to me, then practicing on system. Wow. And okay, can
Yeah.
you try sharing your screen? Wow. 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 Can you put on your back camera video and try to show me what's showing on your system? Or if you can copy the code error and put it in the chat section, let me help you with it.
Okay. I think I'll just run the camera.
Okay.
Using. That. Okay, so
Okay.
what I have
So you're saying what?
says use
Okay.
of this script to execute HDFS command is duplicated.
Instead, use the HDFS command for it, Abi.
Yes.
Okay, so that means your code ran actually. Yeah, the file has already been copied. That's actually not an error. It's just telling you that there are better ways to have written that line of code that we used. So meaning we could have just used HDFS and called the function directly. That's not actually an error. So the file is actually
Okay.
inside the HDFS cluster already. You can just ignore that.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the next thing we need to do is we need to run the map reduce program. And to run the map reduce program, there is a syntax for it. It means you would call your Hadoop, you call your Hadoop name, then you call the type of file name, the jar file name. Yeah? Is someone asking
Let
a
me share
question?
your screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. My apologies. Okay, can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So now, since we have the Java application that we just built, we have exported it, and after exporting it, through our terminal, we have copied the Java application from our local machine to our HDFS Hadoop cluster. What we now want to do now is we want to run the application. And to run the application, there is a syntax for that and there is a code for that. So this is it. Oh, I already corrected it here. So I'm not meant to correct it. So this is originally the code you all have. So like I said, you copy this code. Some of you can type it. So you copy it and paste it. The reason why I'm not using the correct thing is I want you guys to see the error. So I'm going to run this. Can you see the error? It's saying what? Not a valid jar file. You can see it, right? How many of us encountered this error or faced this error? So how many of us faced this error or encountered this? Wow. Before I just typed. Did anyone get to this point and couldn't get it after that? The point where it said not a valid jar file.
So the thing here is that I can't copy and paste. I don't know why. It's not copy and paste is not working to my terminal. So I have to type everything directly.
You
So the thing is,
write down the
okay, someone
terminal.
should answer him.
Right click. You see the option to paste.
Oh,
Oh,
so it's not direct control V.
it is not
Okay.
direct control V.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So if you faced this particular error that says not a valid JAR file, let me know. Or if you were stranded here, let me know. Okay. It seems nobody faced the error. So to solve this, all you just need to do is, like I told you, you need to specify, to explicitly define the name of the file. So it is word count.jar. So if we run this now, it is correct. So what that means is that you need to come to your code script. What they said is actually correct. Then come down to the text file where you see word count, the very first directory. You need to specify. No, yeah, you need to specify word count.jar. Yeah, word count.jar. Okay, so if I press enter, okay, it's telling me not a valid jar file. Wow. Okay, sorry, permit me. Okay. 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 Sorry. Yeah. What's count.jr? This is where it's meant to be. Okay, I need to be sure. Word count. Okay, there's none here. So if I press enter, it should run the code now. Okay, there's an error. Wow. So the issue is the file already exists, meaning I already ran the code before. So since I want to run the code again, there's something I'm actually meant to type. There's something I'm actually meant to type. I'm actually meant to remove the file from there. So to do that, yeah, since I ran it before and I'm having this issue now, so I'll just do this. Yes. Okay, so it has deleted the file now. So I'll try to run the code again. It should work now. Okay, just an issue. Is there an issue?
The issue you're having now was actually the same one I faced while I was trying to run mine. So I think this is at the point that I don't know. I faced the same issue severally also while trying to run
it. Okay. So we'll just try to read it. What is wrong? Okay. Okay. So this is what we'll do now. I'm going to do this. Yes. It should run now. Okay, yeah, it's running now. It's run now. So, marvelous. The solution to that issue is still the same thing that it's still the same point that I've been buttressing since morning. Always explicitly define the name of your files. So if you check your code, the code for running it, if you check the code
it. Okay.
for running it,
Okay.
remember we put the very first name is word count. So you need to put .jar in the very first word count and the last one that comes after the package name also. So the code should look like this. So I'm going to put the correct code in the chat section now for you guys facing that type of issue. So I'll also teach you how to read the error. that we faced initially. Okay, so it's in the chat section now. So let me teach you guys how to read the error we faced initially. So we can see that our map reduce program already it ran now. So from here you can see that okay, there should be a place where it should tell us map reduce 100% reduce. Okay, if you look at this place now, it says what? Map is what? It says map 100% reduce 0%. Then at some point it will tell us that map 100% reduce 100%. It means that the map function ran already, the reduce function to run successfully. So all of our jobs ran successfully. Then it will give us statistics of the different of the file type, the file, and the number of words when we type a particular thing. But let's go back to the initial error you were facing. So the very first error we faced, the one you were facing, Marvelous. Okay. So if you noticed, when we ran this particular code, if you check it very well, some things ran successfully. The very first line ran successfully. The second line ran successfully. This one ran. Then down. Okay, is this it? No, this is not it. Oh, my apologies. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is it. Oh, no, this is not it. Okay, yeah, this is it now. I've seen it. So if you check it now, this one ran successfully, this one ran successfully. Then it started throwing exceptions from a particular place. If you check the very first exception it ran, it says what? The input part does not exist. Let me highlight it. So you need to look at this place. So the very first exception is true, was an exception of invalid input part. So I'll try to make that bigger. Okay. So if you check, it says what input part does not exist, meaning that particular file we are telling it to work on, it couldn't trace it or it couldn't find it, it couldn't get it. So all we just needed to do to correct it was adding .jar to the end of the file name so that it would be able to get it, and that was all. So that's the solution to it. Then the next thing is, let's now read the output of our MapReduce program, of our MapReduce application. So to do that, the same thing, copy this code and you paste it. Then when you run this, it should give you the summary of your MapReduce tasks that you just ran. So you can see it ran. It's telling us that, oh, in the chunk of words, in the chunk of text file, the data we passed into it, it is saying, okay, let's do big data. We have 6 of it, 6 words of it. So this is your MapReduce summary of the file you passed into it. So this is it. It's run. So let me know if you have this, if you're able to produce the same result with me. How many of you? Just indicate. Yeah, indicate by raising up your hand. Or if you can't raise up your hand, just type yes in the chat section. If you're able to produce the section.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, someone wants to ask a question.
Okay, while we were working, I lost control of my VMware, and I don't know what happened.
You lost some.
Went blank.
And
Okay, can you unmute yourself and talk now?
I said while I was working, I was following along with the example, I lost control of my VMware. It suddenly went blank. I don't know.
Oh, sorry, remember. Have you enabled virtualization on the system you are using?
Yes.
Virtualization is enabled. And what's the RAM of the system? Is it up to 8 gig of RAM?
8 is 8.
Okay, which processor?
You said what?
Which processor? Core i5 or what?
Pentium.
Wow, that's the headache. You wouldn't be able to use a pension system to run that, to run most of your Daska labs. As time goes on, you would want to be doing heavy computing. So this is how it works. Since you are using your normal system normally, and we are using VMware, it's like we are using another computer inside our normal piece. So what that does is that since you have enabled virtualization, enabling virtualization means that you have told your normal system to dedicate some of its RAM and resources into running your VMware. And the kind of processor your system uses matters. So I really don't know, but can you share your screen? Maybe I can help you around it.
But it's a quad core, so I didn't see that as an issue anyways. But let me share my screen.
Okay.
Can you see?
Okay. So VMware player is black. Did you know how to give me control?
Okay. Done.
Okay, I have control now, right?
Yeah.
Wow, you might have to restart. Let me see. You might have to restart your VMware. That's all I can say. Or reach out to Emmanuel.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, hello, sir.
Yes, I'm coming. Marvelous, you can remove the control, yeah. Just
Okay.
you can stop, yeah. Stop sharing your screen. Just stop sharing your screen.
Okay. Is my screen still showing?
Yes.
Oh. Wow. I'm unable to stop it from here. I think because I gave you control. Can you?
Okay. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You can see it now.
Okay.
Okay, so okay. Someone else was
Yeah,
asking a
what you got?
question.
Yeah, I got some errors. Yeah,
Oh, you
it's
got some
me. I want to
errors.
ask a question. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if it's an error exactly. It's an exception too, but it was not similar to the kind of exception you got.
Okay, so what's the exception?
So, something exception in thread main. No, can I just share it so you see a lot
Okay, yeah,
of
you can
things
share
there?
it. Yeah, you can share it.
Sorry. Sorry, this thing is having some issues.
Marvelous, you can stop sharing your screen now.
I'm unable to do that. That's the. I don't know.
Wow. If you've stopped giving me control, try to minimize your VMware.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
We are waiting.
All right. So okay, so this is what I had after the .jar aspect.
Okay, what's the final exception report? I can barely see this. Wow.
It says exception at org.apache.util run jar main other
Oh,
things like that.
okay. Yeah, I think I get. Yeah. So basically, this what they call it, this error you're having is from your Eclipse environment, meaning the packages or the libraries you were meant to use to compile your Java application. Some of them are not running, and some might be conflicting one another. So did you follow through the process of deleting your SRC file and creating a new one?
Yes, I did that
And you also followed the process of following the same naming pattern for
on the
the
platform.
files. For the files, and you
Following the
selected
yeah,
the.
the only thing I just
You said what?
the only thing I just put my name in front. There was nothing really only word count. There was still word count with it. So
You created a new workspace.
yes. This was the workspace name self. This is it.
Okay. I wish you could share the screen so maybe I could troubleshoot that for you. Well, one thing I know is try to build the project again from scratch, from the beginning. That should be one way of getting it. Try to follow the whole process in your lab manual again. Because I
Okay.
don't, yeah, that's just try to follow the whole process again. Or you can just play
Okay.
this
All right.
lecture once the recording is ready. You have to follow through again. Does anyone have
All
any
right.
other error
Yes.
or exception?
Error.
Oh,
Exception. Everything.
okay, can you share your screen? Is it possible?
I'll have to use the back camera.
Wow. Okay, no problem. Just go on, show me what you have. I think it's best if we use our systems for the Friday classes because once in a while you might actually have to, what do you call it? Share your screen and give me control of your screen. Okay. Java dot runtime. Okay, runtime execution. Okay, so your Hadoop libraries, your okay, so it runs some of your oh okay, the map tax 0%, reduce tax 0%. Okay, can you go to the beginning of the code you entered? Can I see the code? No, you can drop your phone down, then try to slide up to the input that gave the error. Okay, so can you highlight? Okay, let me see. All current jar. Okay, try to highlight the code so I'll be able to identify it easily. We're waiting for you, Toby.
Okay, I have a question.
What?
Thank you, sir. You said we can change the project name and the package name to whatever we want, as long as for the package name it starts with com dots, then something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have done this assignment before and I was able to get the final result. So I don't know if it is because of the name I changed. My word map, I have many errors there. I don't know.
Okay. So
Could it
basically,
be because I
did you follow through to the end that says if you want to try the project again, you need to first of all delete your output?
no, sir?
Okay. So the very first thing you will do is there is a final HDFS command that you would run. You will remove the output of the very first map reduce program that you did the first time and you got.
Okay.
So when you do that, the next thing is all those word count.jar files that you created initially. Have you tried deleting them or removing them from those directories?
Okay, so I have to remove every one of them. So there's
Yes,
no way that they can remain
it's
and then maybe I change their name or something.
yeah. So if you rename, you would have to rename in your code also. Do you get? So for everything you are renaming, you need to take note of it in the subsequent code you need to run. So let me see the error you're having also. Can you share your screen?
I'm using my phone.
Ending this class anytime soon. I haven't by 4. Wow, so Toby is no longer here, I guess. So any other person that has something to say, maybe an error, a bug or something. Well, this is how it is. Like I said, you guys need to go back to your labs, try to do all the labs. You try to do the labs down to the most recent topic for data engineering. I'm interested just in basically for engineering. I don't know about how the analysis guys will go about your labs, but for data engineering, we'll try to do it down to storing data in Adobe, storing of data in Adobe using HBase. Try to do it up to that point. So if you have any error, any questions, so Friday is meant to be your lab class. So whereby we ask questions, we interact, and you use your screen to participate on Friday class so that you can always share your screen, give me access to it, try to debug it for you, and also try to fix the error for you, or we can always guide you through. I'm sorry I have to go now. So hopefully some other time. Adetoru, can you share your screen? Is it possible?
I'm
Wow.
using my phone, sir.
Wow, you too. Okay, no problem. Bye bye, guys. So see you next week, Friday. Try to do as many labs as you can. That would just be the best. Try to engage yourself and try to learn more about navigating the Linux terminal. Have a nice weekend.
Sorry,
Thank
sir.
you very much, Mr.
Can we
Femi.
contact you?
Eh?
Can we contact you by any chance?
Yes, you can. Okay. Wow. Okay. So I'm just going to drop my contact for you guys in the chat section. Talk to me or Edward. I'm sure Edward already dropped his number for you guys, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So that's it. Okay, you guys have a nice
Right.
weekend.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir. Thank you very much, sir.
I noticed in the analyst code script, we actually have engineering guys scripts.
You mean the
We
work?
actually have the scripts, but we just don't know what to do with it. Maybe when we organize private our own lecture sessions, then engineering guys can show us what's up.
Okay.
No problem. Esther, how far?
Check your chat.
I'm
I sent you
replying
a
your
message.
yeah.
Okay. Let's
So
go
I'm
before
leaving.
Emmanuel come for. Bye bye.
All right.